So please remind your guests to leave that pass displayed because we will get a call from a neighbor sometimes that thinks the car doesn't belong, and we'll have to go out there. And at that point, we're going to be responding to that violation. A separate thing that I would like to bring up that was not on the report was unregistered golf carts. So recently, we've seen an increase of unregistered golf carts attempting to come into the community. Last month, April, we issued 33 citations for people driving golf carts that were not registered. In Canyon Lake, you must have your golf cart registered with the POA, or it must be a neighborhood electric vehicle that's registered with the DMV. There is no in between. It has to be one or the other. So either registered with the state or registered with the POA. You can contact member services to go ahead and get the registration taken care of. And at that point in time, you'll be in compliance. If you do not have it, or if your guest tries to drive the golf cart and it does not have it, then it may lead to a possible citation issued by the patrol officer.
I'd like to talk about some things that I've been working on with the vendor, and that is to evolve what we currently call Bluebird Hall, the dispatch office, into what you would call a security operations center or an SOC. Here's where you're going to have a dispatcher, someone monitoring emergency frequencies in the area. We have a fire scanner where they're listening to all of the fire calls that come out now and all of the websites that provide information, and then relaying that information over the radio to the patrol officers. We're doing this because I would hear the ambulance coming into the community, but we didn't know where they were going. We didn't know if they needed help, if they needed traffic control, if there was something the POA could do. So now they're going to start monitoring those and dispatching the patrol officer to the area and stand at a distance to see if they're needed. To get in the practice of being in the common areas and addressing issues that come up. Sometimes a call comes out as a medical aid, but it was a vehicle accident because the 911 dispatcher didn't get all the information they could get from the scene, so they're going to be going out there. Recently, they were doing one of those follows where an ambulance was leaving the community, and they announced over the radio, AMR's leaving the community, and as the officer looked over, saw flames coming out of somebody's house. Put that over the radio, started to respond. The dispatchers called 911. At that time, the scanner started going off and you could hear the tone out for the call. So everything was happening the way it's supposed to. And I'm really proud that those two incidents occurred, and we're working on getting some momentum where they're getting better in that and they're growing in those positions. That's pretty much it. I've been focused. I had a meeting today with some corporate individuals from Allied Universal to talk about our goals for this next year and challenging them to do a few things for us.
I got a couple of points. One question for Zach. Zach, I was going through the results, page 35 of the handout. One thing that continues to surprise me is the number of confiscated gate passes. I mean, 55 per month. It's been consistent every month. That's like 2 a day. Can you shed any light on that as to what's going on there and what we can do to improve that?
Absolutely. So confiscate passes are when your guests or some non-member is coming up to the gate and they are being asked, hey, can I go ahead and see your driver's license? The most common confiscate pass is because they did not have their driver's license in their possession at that point in time. Sometimes it is because they just forgot it and they needed to go find it. But majority of the time, they really did not have their license and they could not find it in that moment. So that's why the pass was confiscated. Or somehow they got a hold of a pass that did not belong to them at all. And the officer went ahead and said, you do not belong here under this name, and I'm going to take the pass from you at this time.
Thanks, Zach. Ken, I know when it comes to security, it's we have to be very careful how we talk about incidents that happen and so forth. And I know you're working very closely with the city as they get ready to stand up their police department, which we're very excited about doing. Can you shed any light? There was an incident at the motorcycle parking lot. What can you tell us about what maybe happened there and how Community Patrol helped address that?
Okay. This is a case that there's been arrests made, so there's not a lot of secrets that are going to be told that would screw up an investigation. But to answer your question, I was made aware of the motorcycle theft at our brand new corral with our brand new cameras and our brand new fenced in area. Now, the Perpetrators did not walk into that area and go shopping. They knew exactly which motorcycle they wanted, and they walked right up to it, took off the cover, jumped on, and drove away. It did not look like a theft. From the outside looking in, nothing would have alerted me if I was standing right there. Excuse me. So they drove a unique van with unique characteristics. Um, and I watched that on the CCTV from different angles. I then went to our Flock system, and you can enter investigative hints into Flock, and it'll give you all the vehicles that match that description. One of the vehicles turned out to be the one that we wanted, and oh, they gave me the license plate. Thank you. I gave that license plate information to law enforcement. Within 24 hours, they were kicking a door.
So you were able to use some of the new cameras and so forth that we had in the security facility to help identify
Yes.
the perpetrators. Great. Great. Another question that sometimes comes to mind is, how does somebody like that get access to our community? Were we able to identify at least how they got access into the community to perform a robbery?
I was able to access how they got into the community. That's the part that I can't talk about too much yet, but I will tell you this. They violated our rules to enter the community, and somebody else violated a rule, and I have to talk with them.
Now, again, we can't reveal anything we can't talk about, but this is a case. I think it's good for our community to hear that there are incidents that happen. Some of the proactive measures that we put in place have helped, and we're able to lead to a very quick arrest. So I'm glad to hear. I think it's a good case that people should hear about. Last question for you, Ken. Later this month, we've got a few activities going on.
Just a couple.
And what is the gate entry procedure? Can you maybe go over that with?
Oh, wonderful. I think one of the best ideas somebody over here on the board had, and whoever it was, raise your hand because I don't remember truthfully, said, hey, why don't we make Eastgate members only? And the reason we did that is because Halloween was the worst Halloween in America. And we know that it will happen again in 1930 or 2036 because it'll be a Friday on the 31st, and all those things all the planets are going to line up again. But for this event, one of the things that makes the members feel like they're getting the treatment that they should as a member of this community is to provide this space for them to come in without having to wait in line with all the guests and the vendors and whoever else is trying to get in for those days. So on Saturday and Sunday, Fiesta Day, and for the Country Fest concert, Eastgate will have special hours for members only, and those are going to be posted online. Comms is going to take care of that. And I still owe you those times, so I'll get you those. But that's what we're planning.
Thanks, Ken. So the main gate is for guests only. Members can go in there. You're
Absolutely. We're not gonna
going
turn them
in,
away.
just know that you might sit in line. But if you want to get quick access, members only through the East Gate.
Now, last time we did this, there was quite a few POA cards that were seized because we're going to have a checkpoint before you get to the gate at that left turn lane to make sure that the POA card you're presenting is yours. And if you gave your card to somebody else, we're going to take it. So please don't do that.
So Ken, I think we talked about this before, and it's a really good place. Anybody in the audience or people that might be listening at home, it seems innocent enough, I think, in some situations for people to give their card to another family member because you're all family, and what is the big difference? And, on one hand, we understand that, but it still is against the rules. And we've had a number of family cards confiscated. So somebody's doing, I don't know, a birthday run for ice cream or whatever it may be. So I think proactively, it's just a good time to get a reminder out that the card is individually assigned. Thank you. Individually assigned. And even though it may be your partner or your son or daughter, they still have to have their own card, and giving them that card also is the risk of it being confiscated.
Yeah. So please jump in the car with them, with your card, and you're fine to come back if they give you a ride. That is absolutely okay. If you don't want to drive to the market, get a ride to the market, we'll get you back in with your card. Be in the car with them.
Ken, I have a question on a hot topic these days.
Really? Wonder what that is.
Failure to stop at stop signs. The statistics show that in January, you issued 161 citations. In February, 238. And then in March, 75. There must be a story behind that precipitous drop.
First of all, that's a big word for me this late on a Monday or Tuesday, whatever day this is. But Greg, thank you so much. And first, before I go any farther, Greg, we're going to miss you. Speaking as an employee
Thank
of the POA and one of the managers here and someone who's absolutely enjoyed every minute interacting with you and working with you, thank you so much for your leadership. Feel free to come by the office anytime you want and chat. And thank you very much. Now, to answer your question, as I mentioned earlier, I manage the contract with the security service. And it's my role to actively research and look at the things that they do when they do them and ask, is this the best return on investment for the community? Are they doing something worthy of all the time and effort? And my new favorite is the juice worth the squeeze. That's my favorite new term. What I noticed was there was a lot of times where the patrol drivers was just driving around. 10 o'clock in the morning, kids are in school, nothing's going on. They're going to the parks, nobody's there, but they're going to check on them. I said, maybe we can see if there's something else they could do. Let's try some productivity in other areas. So I thought, what the heck? Let's try stop sign enforcement. Let's just see what's going on at the stop signs. I didn't know that it was going to be all of those citations. And a lot of things came from that. A lot of dialogue came from that. And you know what? It's all good dialogue. It's really it was some unforeseen results were all of the citations that we did have. It bogged down appeals. It did a bunch of things. And that was not the intention. And I apologize for that. But at the end, we have a lot of people running stop signs here. A lot of them. So, it's an awareness piece. We have since redirected the team to do other things. So that's why you see the drop in the citations, because we did it as an experiment. We've moved on. We're still actively enforcing stop signs, but not at the level we were because we got our numbers.
I will add a note, and that is speaking personally and individually, it has resulted in behavioral modification. I know having fallen into that situation myself, that I now stop and count to two before I move on. And so, sometimes a reminder is good, particularly in instances where there's other traffic, where there's golf carts, where there's kids on bicycles, where there's dogs, pets, whatever it might be. It's just a good reminder. So thanks.
I actually wanted to thank you for the stop sign enforcement. I can tell you where I live, there is a three-way intersection there with the stop sign. And, just over a month ago, I'm stopped at the stop sign. I start to go. Car comes down the hill and almost hits me. Then about a week later, someone almost did the same in a golf cart. And I can tell you that the people who live at that intersection have actually come to my house to complain. So I appreciate that you have been enforcing that because it is a safety issue. And a lot of people say, oh, what's the problem? Well, the problem is it's a safety issue. I've had close calls. The people that live in that corner, that intersection, which I'm not talking about just two houses. We're talking a T intersection. There's houses all around there. They wanted me to pass on that they appreciate that you were doing that because there have been some very close calls over there. So I just want to thank you. And I hope you don't stop. Although I know a lot of the community's not happy about it, it is a safety issue.
It is a safety issue, and it's a good thing to reevaluate what you do sometimes. And if it's overwhelming, if it's too much, well, don't raise the bridge, lower the river. That's data for you guys to work with, and I'm glad I was able to supply that. And we've moved on. But I know the intersection you're talking. We have one officer that loves. It's a tee off of Gray Fox down there, and he loves that intersection. It's easy fishing for him.
Anything else? Zach, Ken, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, a couple of announcements tonight. We from time to time get fan mail at the board from our constituents, from our members, and among many of the concerns that people have talked to us about is, geez, what's going on with the lake, and what are you guys doing, and geez, it looks awful, or this is various things that happen. I want to reinforce to everyone that that's probably our number one priority as a board, as a POA in general. And we're working daily to address it, to assess it, to figure out what's going on. But it's complex. We're involved with 4 government entities. Government doesn't always move as fast as we would like to, but we are taking a look at trying to find out what is the situation, what's going on, what's the behaviors, what's maybe caused some of the changes that have happened recently. But we're also looking at other techniques to improve the quality, the overall water quality and look. A couple of them that I'll just mention that are under evaluation there's a couple of non-chemical techniques that we're looking into. One is an ultrasonic technique that actually will use like a sonar throughout the lake that can actually break up algae and so forth, and it allegedly works on both golden and green algae. And so that's something there's been some test programs that have been proposed to us. We're also looking at another technique that's been used successfully in both East Lake, in Yorba Linda, and Menifee Lakes down upstream from us, rather, that have worked on golden algae. It's called floating islands, where a company will come in and put a combination of floating plants with aeration that at least in the 2 cases of Menifee Lakes and Yorba Linda, completely removed golden algae overall. So we're looking at other techniques, but we have to do that in concert with the other people who own the water and who govern the water. And so we're working through that. It'll take some time. I want everyone to know that this is in process. I want to just make everyone know that it's our top priority, but it requires coordination with other people. So bear with us with your patience on that, but we'll keep you informed as soon as we can make some headway. Hopefully we'll have some pilot programs testing out a few of these in the not too distant future, but we'll see. And the second announcement is, has everyone, if you are in here and how many people have voted? Raise your hands. All right, good. So for the ones who haven't, there's a couple of reasons for that. I didn't realize there was an election going on. Well, there is. Despite the fact that the directors have already been selected through acclamation, we still have 3 ballot measures that have to be voted upon. One is to change the quorum from 1/3 of the community to however many votes are received. The second one is to roll over any excess funds or budget available from one year to the next so we can minimize tax impact to the association, which is all of us. And the third one restricts any board from selling any common property without the vote of the people. So those all, again, make your decision on those, but that's what needs to be done. If you have not received your ballot, they were sent out on April 13th. If you did not previously go and announce that you're going to opt out, in other words, you want a paper ballot, it went to your email. If you didn't get an email, look in your spam folder. The reason for that is this year we changed our inspector of elections. And so the old inspector of elections may have come through to your email. The new one, which is called third-party voting, maybe went to your spam. So look in your spam folder. If you still can't find one there, contact our member services, or we have a number for third-party voting. They've been very helpful with a number of people working with you online real quickly to be able to get your votes in. To date, we have 554 votes. We need 1,600 by a week from tomorrow. If we don't get that, then we go to Friday, in which the quorum drops to 1,200. If we don't get that, then we have to wait till March 30th, where it drops to 960. If we don't get that, then we wait another month to June 30th to have the next one down. Each of these times that we kick it costs us money. So, and this is the reason why we're trying to change the whole quorum issue. So please vote. Please get it out. Communicate to your friends. Share it on social media. And if you have any questions, let us know.
There might be one more reason why people don't vote, is because it only goes to the prime member. So I won't make it gender specific, but I will just say that one partner might have an email to which he or she is not paying attention, and it's sitting in there. So in a home with 2 adults that are participating in this process, you may want to check that the other partner's email is just not sitting there, because that is where we see a lot of them go.
Good point, Money. And the other thing is, if you own multiple properties, you will only get one email. And from that one email, you can vote on all your properties, however many that is. So again, it's really important to follow through. Just want to remind everyone, please get out and vote. It'll help us and will save us money in the future. With that, do we have any announcements from the floor on non-agenda items?
Well, really quickly with the election, let's also mention that track 3961 would like to amend their CCNRs. And if you live in the tract of 3961, which is in the Fairway Estates, we encourage you guys to vote also, because that is to amend your CCNRs. And we need your quorum as well to get that passed. And for member comments, yes, I do have Rob Mora who'd like to speak.
Rob, I want you to know I have the overs tonight, and so take as long as you need to speak.
3777012. Congratulations, Greg. And I just wanted to say on behalf of the Canyon Lake Yacht Club, I wanted to just give a special thanks for coming out and supporting opening day. It was a great day to get together. And shout out to 2nd District Supervisor Karen Spiegel and Mayor Jeremy Smith. Just so many events going on in Canyon Lake, and it was just great to see the people out in the boats, Pastor Thor being there, and everybody that was showed up, Jeff and Laney. So that was great. And then on the second note, I know Eric's over here, but I just wanted to give a special kudos to him and Steve Schneider for coming up with the really cool Burgee display that we have now here at the lodge. If you haven't seen it yet, I ask you guys to step in. Maybe there's some tequila over that way for Cinco de Mayo, but there's a cool Burgee display with 60 plus Burgees hanging on the wall. And we're going to keep collecting and traveling the world. And now, Greg, that you've retired from the POA board, now you can start to travel a little bit more than what you already do. That's kind of scary. But congratulations again, and thanks to everybody for coming out.
Thank you, Rob. All right, is that it?
That would be it, sir.
All right. The consent agenda, for those of you who don't know what it is, these are kind of routine items to ratify the monthly financial statements, which is one of our primary jobs as the board, to report on executive action and authorization of liens. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through C is proposed?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. All right, it is the Tiffany Cribbs show today, what you've all been waiting for. Tiffany, come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for coming just for me tonight. So the first item is a 28-day reading for a proposed new rule, Courts and Fields 2.9, related to cooking devices on court surfaces. This recommendation came to the Rules Committee after a few incidents of barbecues on our basketball courts, and the use had actually caused damage to the court surfaces and impacts their overall condition and usability. While the issue was primarily on the basketball courts, the rules written to apply consistently across all court surfaces to prevent similar damage moving forward. The proposed rule prohibits cooking devices, barbecues, or grills on court surfaces. Propane grills would still be allowed at designated areas, and charcoal use would remain limited to designated barbecues. There is a proposed fine of $100 per violation, plus the cost of any repairs if damage occurs. The intent here is not revenue, it's to protect the facilities and reduce avoidable maintenance costs. Staff is recommending to approve the 28-day reading for this new rule.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Is there a
Second.
Okay. We have first and second. So now, any member comments? If you'd like to comment, please come forward. Tell us your name and tract and lot, and be happy to hear your input, please.
Track and lot is 036820. Name is Russell Reichman. Hi, guys. So the residents and our friends and guests have been playing basketball down there for 20 years. Never have we seen the basketball courts being ruined. In reality, what's ruining the basketball courts is the overwatering that we have for years mentioned to the POA, excuse me, and to operations. Also, the basketball court is downhill. It's downhill from water. So regularly on Saturdays and Sundays, we sweep the courts, we blow the courts, and it's never rained the night before. So water is really the culprit of what's ruining. We've watched the basketball courts over the years peel up. POA fix them, they peel up. So it's really the water, and there's been broken pipes under the basketball courts over the years. So it has nothing to do with ourselves and our friends playing basketball. We have barbecued in the grass area with a flat grill and a fire extinguisher. Never has anything been ruined on the basketball courts. Then there are the e-bikers. The e-bikers are doing donuts and wheelies on the basketball court, not the guys playing basketball with rubber shoes. So I just wanted to go on record to let you guys know it's really not the people playing basketball. It's everything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to have a comment? Okay, board comments.
I just have a question clarifying, Tiffany. Along with this rule, though, my understanding is there was a recommendation to a committee to look at creating a different area conveniently located for barbecuing and those types of activities.
Yeah, it's my understanding that we already ordered barbecues to be installed in that grass area, kind of like adjacent. And those should be installed pretty soon, actually, and that should help out with some of the use. And then to clarify on this rule, this is cooking devices on the courts, not in the grass area around it. It's just very specific on the courts.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Any other board member comments or questions?
Yeah, we seem to have some compelling comments from that gentleman that it may not be the barbecues at all. So it's making me wonder about all this. Seriously. So I would like to see more investigation as to the causes based on the comments that I heard.
I would agree. I mean, Russell's played ball down there as long as I have known him, which has been probably 20 plus years. So I think there is definitely, there's some validity to the concerns that he raises about other sources of destruction. I don't know that from my perspective, I don't know that it negates the concern in general of anybody. It may not be that group of people barbecuing on it and providing an appropriate area. But to your point, I think excessive watering and other such factors should be looked at in greater detail.
Anyone else?
Do we have specific documentation of damage caused by a barbecue, or is this complaints? Did we see something on there, clean up the mess? What started?
This was information from our operations department, so they had to go out and make repairs to the courts based off of people that were grilling on the courts. I could follow up with them and find out.
Any other questions? Okay, it's a 28-day reading. It's not a rule that goes into effect, but it's 28-day reading. Is there a motion to approve the 28-day reading? No? All right.
I'll approve the 28-day reading.
Yeah. So we have a motion. Is there a second for the?
I'll give a second for the 28-day because we're going to revisit it.
It won't be voted upon until next month, which may provide enough time to provide supporting information, at which point you can either decide to approve the motion or not. Okay, first and second, all in favor of approving the 28-day reading, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
With the request from operations and activities to provide supporting information, please. Okay, good. Number 2.
Okay, next item is a 28-day reading for a revision to General Rule 5.10 regarding failure to stop at a stop sign. Currently, this violation carries a flat $250 fine. The proposed update introduces a tiered fine structure with a 36-month period to better align with how we handle other traffic-related violations such as speeding. The updated structure would be $150 for the first offense, $250 for the second offense, and 350 for the third offense. This creates a more balanced progression in line with other traffic-related violations. Staff is recommending approval of the 28-day reading for this revision.
We have a motion? Looking to you, Greg.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any member comments? It's your last opportunity, Terry.
Hello, I didn't think I was going to speak tonight until I saw this. First of all, I want to commend the board for addressing this. It's been a battle. You've seen the community slam the board and appeals and everybody else because of the high fine of $250. We love the fact that you addressed this and have made it in line with our speeding. I have no problem with the 28-day reading to these tiered fines. What I would like to recommend to the board would be to perhaps look into an additional rule perhaps, or an addendum to this rule. We all know in our speeding that once you go 20 miles over the speed limit, it is no longer a speeding infraction, it is a reckless driving infraction. We see many times where people almost come to a stop, and I know and I understand the viewpoint that a stop is a stop, you either stopped or you didn't. Not arguing that, but we've also seen blatant, and I mean blatant, people just blow through a stop sign, which is a lot different than somebody pumping the brakes and almost stopping. I would propose that the board consider an endangered, maybe a $100 fine when it escalates to that particular level, which would kind of be in line with our reckless driving when you're going 20 miles over. I think blowing through a stop sign without even the hesitant ability to even think about stopping deserves a higher fine than a first offender that almost stopped. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, Terry. Anyone else? No? Okay, board comments, questions? I'll add, adding on to Terry, who you'll see up here next month, by the way. This is good feedback that came from our appeals committee. And I know I sat in on one meeting, Lace has sat in everyone, Terry's sat in every committee meeting. We sit through hours and hours worth of video of people rolling through stop signs, running through stop signs, and so forth. And this is a good feedback that, again, this is a case where we're listening based on experience from the committee. This is actually really a committee recommendation as to how this came about. Is they said, hey, we'd like to make them more consistent than like you do with the speeding. So thank you to the appeals committee for providing that feedback. And with that, let's vote on the 28-day reading. All in favor of approving the 28-day reading for this rule revision, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
Again, this is a 28-day reading, which means there is opportunity for additional feedback. Any members on any of these 28-day readings, if you have additional feedback, you disagree with what's been said, or you want to add some more insight to it, feel free to email the board. It's board@canyonlakepoa.com. We do welcome the feedback, and it does help us, as we hear from you, helps us make better decisions. So thank you. All right, Tiffany, last one.
Okay, final item is the request to approve rule variances for Fiesta Day and Country Fest. Fiesta Day takes place on May 23rd, followed by Country Fest on May 24th. These are large community-wide events that include activities like the parade and ski show, and some components that don't fully align with our standard rules and regulations. Because of this, a formal resolution is brought forward each year to allow temporary variances that support the events while maintaining overall safety and structure. These variants include items such as temporary road closures and modified traffic flow for the parade, pedestrian use of roadways and participants riding on floats, amplified music and event-related noise, vendor activity and food and beverage sales, adjustments to lake operations for the ski show. At the same time, the resolution specifically outlines that motorcycles are not allowed, and these events are coordinated with staff, community patrol, and emergency services to ensure they run safely. Staff is recommending the approval of the requested variances as presented.
Thanks, Tiffany. Is there a motion to approve this?
Motion.
Second.
Member comments? No member comments? Board comments, questions? One, is this any different than we've done any prior year?
Generally, no, but this year I cross-referenced them all with the rules and I put after each variance what rule that it's a variance to.
Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, all in favor of approving the rule variances, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. All right, board liaison committee reports. Jeff, why don't you start us off?
Well, it's been kind of a slow month, but the FPC is still ad hoc. And the security committee is still investigating different things we can do about the e-bikes, but we are looking forward to the new police department because we are very limited on what we can do. We can't chase them, we can't arrest them, we can't impound their bikes, but the new police department can. So we are looking at a lot of different ways to enforce this, and we do have some ways to enforce it, which I'm not going to explain here because I'm not going to show the cards, so the kids don't know what we're doing. But we do have a means of enforcement, and we exercise that wherever we can. Moving forward with that, we are looking into various complaints regarding, how do I put it, cards that don't belong here, and among other things like that that have been brought to our attention. That's really about it. It's been kind of a slow month. So.
Thanks, Jeff. Lainey, you have anything?
I don't have anything specific to report from appeals. I'm also the liaison for rules. The committee is currently working on updating the rules for the lake and marina, the sections on the lake and marina. And again, just to be clear, this body of work is not about adding more rules. It's really just about separating policy from rules, which makes it easier for the end user, the resident, to read and understand and have clear, expectations of what they can and can't do. And in some cases, it is to simplify the language. A lot of these rules have been carried over for decades, and it just doesn't fit in today's world, in terms of the terminology. So that's a big process that they're on. And I think next up, Tiffany, after Lake and Marina is... Okay, I'm not sure, but this is going to be. Right. Which brings me to my other committee that I'm liaison, which is the equestrian work group. So first, they are beginning to look at their rules and working in conjunction and cooperatively with the rules committee to this is the great time to go through, review them, revise them, and I said work cooperatively with the rules committee so we can get them updated for all residents. It's especially important in the equestrian work center, in the equestrian group, because there are live animals there. And so to be very clear about the rules and expectations and just make it so people can enjoy the amenity in the center, but also be very careful of one, live animals, and two, they are still valuable assets of the residents who own those horses. And then most importantly, a plea out that the equestrian work group is really trying to recruit members for their work group. So the group itself is small. So if anybody has any extra time that they want to donate to help the equestrian work group on some of their projects, please reach out to Rick Didle. He is the president of or chairperson of the equestrian work group. And all the projects aren't really labor intensive, and they're going to be posting a schedule of their proposed projects. So they're all important, but there's a very big difference in whether you're being recruited to, I don't know, build fences or, use power tools, or whether, it's doing more landscaping or whatever. So they're going to work to begin posting some of their projects. If anybody in the audience or listening at home has a couple of hours, on a Thursday, I believe is the work group, please reach out to the group or to myself. I'll help facilitate getting everybody in touch with each other. That's it.
Thanks, Lainey. I have the senior work group, Tuesday work group, and the green committees, and don't have a lot to report for them. But one of the things we do as a board is because the job is so large, is we all support the architectural control committee. And they often get a lot of, they're not, I would say they're maybe not our most popular committee, but they are our hardest working committee. But one of the feedbacks we've gotten from people, particularly as you go back in years, is, gosh, it's so hard for me to get a project approved and so forth. And it's why does it take so long and all that? And one of the things I want to point out, if you go to page 40 of your handout, they actually keep track of their approval rating. if you look at their approval rating, they're generally over when people come through for approval. If you go to them in advance, ask them what you need, tell them what you want to get done, they will help you do it. They've got over 90% approval where things are passed. So the moral of the story is, go to them, ask them for help. Go with them with a preliminary, and they'll work with you to do it. But I want to commend the ACC in particular for, that is a significant turnaround in the last few years to be able to get this kind of level of performance from maybe where we were 4 or 5 years ago. So thank you for all your hard work, Dave.
Bill, if I can add to that, a plug for those of you who are at home that may be listening. We are having a new homeowners meeting next month in June
25th, 6 p.m. here in the Holiday Bay Room.
Thank you. And so if you have neighbors that are new or friends that are new, we really encourage you to come out. And why I connected is because it's a great time to just meet a person or a staff member from the ACC, just understand a little bit better about the process. A lot of the mistakes that happen is because I don't believe people blatantly disregard it in most cases. And sometimes it's just a lack of awareness. So it's a great opportunity to meet other new residents, to meet some of the I'd say the staff that are head up some of our most important committees and work groups. And we'll all be there, and we're fun.
That's a great plug, Lainey, because it is for anyone who's bought a new property in the last year. So if you haven't heard yet, you're all invited, and you can contact us or respond to our emails or texts. We'd love to have you there. Greg?
So, Recreation Committee, the past couple of months, people have accused me of being very coy because I said, well, there's projects in the works, but I can't talk about them because they haven't been approved. Well, I'm here tonight to tell you that a really nice project was approved today by the board, and it has to do with, and you have to visualize this a little bit because most of you probably don't think about it when you drive by. You go out the Eastport Gate, and as it narrows down in front of where the Eastport condo and the Eastport launch ramp driveways are, it gets very narrow very fast. And people that are going over to Eastport to get their mail, a lot of them are walkers, and a lot of them are walking their dogs to go to get their mail and or to go to the dog park. And so they're forced to walk in the golf cart lane because there's a curb and the 12-foot setback that POA owns of these giant river rocks, which you can't walk on. So it narrows very quickly and frankly is dangerous. And so we've been mulling this around, kicking it around for 2 or 3 months. And I have to give credit to operations for supporting this in addition to the Recreation Committee. Steve was great. And today the board approved that project, and we'll be basically in the center of those river rocks putting in a concrete walkway in that entire, must be 125-foot section of land, so people will get off the streets with their dogs onto the sidewalk. There'll be some landscaping done, and in fact, I have a rendering here that was done by operations. And if you want to look at this after the meeting, come on up and take a look at it. But it's really going to be nice. It's a safety improvement. It's a aesthetic improvement. And we got that approved today, so I'm happy to announce that. A couple other things that Recreation's working on is if you've ever noticed at the pump track, if you've ever been up there, the seating to watch your kids in the pump track is lowered, and it's in a lower position. And when you sit there, you can barely see the pump track. So somebody realized that and said, well, we should move it, possibly consider moving it up to an area where it was at least level with the pump track and possibly a little bit higher so the parents could watch their children use the track. The other recommendation we're working on is another swim dock platform identical to the one that was installed on Indian Beach, I think 2 years ago. This would be at Holiday Harbor. They're pretty inexpensive, easy to mount a moor out there in the swim area. And so that's being worked on. Last month, a brand new recreation idea was introduced by one of the committee members, which is called, get this, Gaga Ball. It has nothing to do with Lady Gaga, nothing whatsoever, but it is spelled the same. It's called Gaga Ball. It's the way I saw it, it's like dodgeball less violent and for smaller kids. If you want to learn about it, it's very popular in Australia. Look it up. But it actually seems, and again, inexpensive recreational activity. So we're looking at that, and then there's another idea that's coming up, but I won't be there next month, so they'll take that from there. So a lot of activity and recreation. Thank you.
Greg, is the swim platform at Happy Camp?
Yeah, that's proposed.
That's proposed.
Yeah.
That's the one you're talking, because
Yeah.
there's one that went in at Indian, but the new one is proposed for Sunset or for the Happy Camp?
For Happy Camp, and thank you for the question. We considered recommending two, one each at Sunset and Happy Camp, but at Sunset, someone pointed out the waves. Well, there went that idea, and that was a good observation.
But it is proposed to go into Happy Camp. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Eric, GM report.
Thank you all for coming. And thank you again to Bill for serving for the last 4 years. And Bill's enjoyed it so much that with recently passed changes to our term limits, he decided to re-up and throw his hat in the ring again. So that's a major sacrifice. I mean, these people are not at Taco Tuesday, for instance. That's a huge sacrifice. But seriously, the amount of time that all the board members spend is it's a very thankless job, and it's been a pleasure to work with Bill for the last 4 years. We're glad he decided to stick around. Greg, it's been fantastic working with you, and we're definitely going to miss you, and we really appreciate everything you've done for staff and the community. Let's see. All of our departments are very busy getting ready for the summer season. We're normally extremely busy in the POA office. That may die down a little bit this season because we have added the ability to register your boat online and pay for your boat registration online. So this is our first year of doing that. We'll see how that goes. Correct me if I'm getting any of that wrong, Tiffany. Okay, so far so good. Okay. And all the departments are getting ready for Fiesta Day. That's really all hands on deck thing. It's recreation activities, recreation, operations, communication. That's obviously one of our biggest events and really takes all of our departments contributing. Same thing for Country Fest, which is on the Sunday after Fiesta Day. And Country Fest was fantastic last year and going to be bigger and better this year. And we're looking forward to that. Taco Tuesday happening right now. Sorry you all are missing out on that. Thank you for being here. Also getting ready for 4th of July, which is our other huge event. So this is really our busy time of year, getting ready for the warm summer season and everything that happens here. Our departments are also supporting many club events and all the other things that go on here. Recreation department is getting ready to put on kids' summer camps again. I think we started that last year. It was the first time, and it's a nice offering for families, give their kids something to do in the summer, so watch for that. As usual, I'd like to direct people to our staff reports, which begin on page 17 of your agenda handout. It's online, and also if you're in the room here, it probably might be in your hand. Our staff takes a lot of time and puts in great detail everything that they're doing every month, so please take a look at that. A few other things we're doing this month, the estates gates on Sorrel and Black Horse. Those have been designed, and we are getting ready. We're submitting those to EVMWD because some of their utilities are involved. We will be submitting to Edison and the building department. And coming later this year, we should see gate access at Black Horse and Sorrel. After a lot of years, those are the only two streets that were never gated, and the plan is to gate them. So we should be bringing exact bids and a dollar number to the board for approval soon as we get approvals. We're also working on a backup generator at the country club. Country club, unfortunately, is on the Longhorn circuit. And if you live on Longhorn, you know that there's a lot of outages on that side of the community. When we have an outage at one of our revenue centers, people are dining and then that we have no way to ring them up or take their money. It's a little bit of a problem. So we're installing a backup generator at the country club. That's in the works. Our marina right out here, we had talked for years about doing a major $1 million replacement of some of these older docks, and we did some value engineering, and we've decided instead to do some pretty major repairs and possibly get another 10 years out of that and save a little money in the process. So that's happening right now. Our year 4 paving project is currently in planning, and we've signed up our pavement engineer, and so getting ready to do our 4th year of major paving improvements. And if you're curious when your street will be done, we have a paving project page on our website, and there's a map showing the phases throughout the community of what streets are going to be done in what year. We try to do a quadrant of the community, contiguous streets, so we're not moving equipment all over town. So if you're curious about that, we'll be publishing information. If your streets are going to be done, you'll be well aware of it. We email everybody in that quadrant as we do the paving projects. And if you've had your streets paved, you know that we do a lot of communication with the residents because there's days you can't drive and all that. So that's coming. Pickleball courts are going to be refurbished. Something we haven't really talked about, but just kind of did. We added a new staircase from the Treasure Island Causeway down to the Jump Lagoon. There's a dock down there, and much easier, safer. It was a precarious trail before, and if you wanted to go spectate or watch people practicing at the Jump Lagoon or competitions or go fishing, it was a pretty precarious trail, and we have a nice stairway there now. So just a little project that didn't get a lot of fanfare, but a pretty major improvement if you live over there. We're re-roofing the buildings at Holiday Harbor, just a maintenance thing. Golf course restaurants or restrooms, 2 of those on hole 5 and 15 are getting new roofs and paint. That was part of a CLAPS club, Canyon Lake Association of Past Presidents, gave a donation to the POA and kind of partnered on a list of projects. And we've been going through those projects. If you're at the golf course, you may have seen some new furniture at the driving range. That was something that that club contributed 50% of the cost, and we contributed the other 50%. Same thing with the restrooms that we're refurbishing on the golf course. So we appreciate that. And the golf maintenance building also got painted, and we put up some fencing to sort of beautify what that looks like. It looked a lot like my garage can sometimes from the golf course. We store a lot of equipment and parts and things there, and so we put up a screen so that people don't have to look at that from their homes or the golf course. And so just little improvements that we're continually making. We don't advertise these or give them a lot of fanfare, but it's our operations team hard at work and clubs kicking in to contribute. And we're always constantly trying to improve our community and just doing these little things. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you for coming. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Eric. All right, we're going to parting comments. We're going to start with Jeff and move this way to give you the last word, Greg.
So, Mr. President, I yield my time to Greg since this is his last night.
Greg, I just want to thank you for the commitment and dedication to the board duties. I don't think you ever just phoned it in. And thank you for the seriousness with which you approach the role. And if you ever get tired of traveling or just plain bored, give us a call.
Yeah, I want to again thank and congratulate Diana for all she's done for Canyon Lake. So, thank you for that. And boy, how do you say 4 years? We got into this together, right? 4 years ago. And I feel like I'm being left behind now. Now you know which one is the smarter one of the two of us. But seriously, it's really been a pleasure with you, Greg. We've been through a lot in 4 years. It's kind of as you think back over it, what's gone on, and since then, a lot's changed in the community. A lot's changed in the world. We were dealing with hyperinflation when we first got on. We had some difficult budget situations, and now things have kind of stabilized. And a lot of that is also due to your calm leadership that you bring, and you will be missed. But although we won't be working together on the board, hopefully you can spend more time socially together. Thank you, Greg.
When I first got elected to this job, a former director came up to me and said, Greg, it's a thankless job. It's a lot of work, but ultimately it's very satisfying. And he was exactly right. But that satisfaction is not possible without the help of a lot of people, and I would like to recognize them tonight. First, my colleagues on the board, past and present, for putting in the invisible work, meaning those hours spent ensuring that Canyon Lake runs smoothly while the rest of the community sleeps. Secondly, all of the people that voted for me twice, or once as the case may be, which enabled me to serve Canyon Lake as a director. Next, the POA staff under the very competent leadership of Eric Kazikoff, our general manager. A board can only be as effective as the people that turn our decisions into reality. And the POA staff has done that consistently. Next, our legal team, led by Sean Kane to my right. Our clerk of the board, Andrea Moreno, deserves a special individual accolade. She filled some very big shoes since becoming clerk of the board. She keeps those directors informed and looking smart, and sometimes keeps them out of trouble. Thanks to all of the committees, committee chairs, and volunteers for your dedication, and serving our community is greatly appreciated. Now, I've never heard in my recollection any parting director skip remarks that do not include a shout out to their spouse. And there is a huge reason for that. They sacrifice a lot: vacation dreams delayed, dinners alone, and spouses in a foul mood. They participate in this process vicariously and deeply. In my case, Julie has experienced this, and I thank her tonight for her patience and commitment. To all of those spouse partners behind the scenes, thank you for being the silent underwriters of our community. Thank you all very, very much.
Now that's the way to go out. Well, if this tonight wasn't enough for you, you can join us again on Wednesday, May 13th. That will be our general open election. Want everyone to come. Please get your votes in for that. And the next regular board meeting will be June 2nd. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Hearing board in favor, meeting adjourned 7:41.